Hello, Boris Pravisham here. As you can see, the world file is now 18 megabytes in size and takes a long time to load in, and that's not the only technical problem. Once we get in, I'll cut to that shortly, but once we get in you'll notice that there is a lot wrong with the world and we need to start a new one. We have the option of either staying with a limited, sort of restrained world with the manual asteroids that load in and out, or we can switch to the new procedural generation with the load in and out asteroids, all the fancy new stuff. I was originally hesitant about moving to the procedural generation because this is a game in alpha. Keen, as has been evidenced by the last few updates, don't seem to really test anything before they update the game. We do the testing for them, which means, particularly when it comes to servers, there's a lot of breaking. And it seems these updates and just the sheer mass of everything in this world, as well as the fact that there's sort of a bubble in the middle of the old type, the old world type, and then everything outside of that is the new world type, which seemed to work really well for about 6 hours, and then I started to see some serious problems, especially with the simulation lag. That, yeah, it was terrible. You'll see that in a second. In fact, let's switch there now. We're in the world now. For some reason, that Christmas tree, all the lights are going off at once instead of the smattering that they used to be. But yeah, so the frame rate isn't too bad actually. It's up around 30, which is pretty decent for space engineers when you've got a few things around. But the sim speed is the main problem. It's down to 0.45 around there at the moment, which, you know, that's running at 40% of what it should be. Variety of different reasons have been given for this, but essentially we've decided that we've got to move on. We can't keep this world anymore, which is a shame, because, you know, we were just getting going, and to be honest, I was just about to start. I haven't really started. You know, everything else has gotten in the road. But in any case, we're going to make a fresh start. Someone's been grinding down my stuff. Yeah, we're going to be making a fresh start in a new world, and although, like I said, I was originally hesitant about moving to the procedural generation, considering that we have to make the move in any case, and that the procedural generation seems to be working better at the moment because of that load in, load out, even though there's a risk of it breaking. Like, as I'm recording this before the next Thursday update, it'll be uploaded after it comes out, and I'm absolutely terrified between now and the time that I get this uploaded that it's all going to break again. So I really hope that doesn't happen. There's been some vandalism going on with all the colours. Yeah, I'm really hoping that things work out as they should, because the procedural generation with the near infinite worlds is right up our alley, exactly what we need. Wow, this really slows down around here. Yeah, it's exactly what we need. It fits really well with what I sort of had in mind with this server, and we've got a lot of big plans, which unfortunately, even though we've done a lot of work on this one, it would be nice to keep it, but we can't. So we are going to start again. Yes, I realized, like, I've already made like a long blog post about this and a summary in the Steam discussion, and then I realized that, you know, all the players on this server don't necessarily check that, so I just thought I'd make this video to let everyone know that this is happening. Oh, I'm going to have to do some... I didn't work out the times before I started recording. How about I just say the times in Australian Eastern Standard Time, and then I'll put the conversions down in the description for everyone to convert to their times. But we are going to be recording a little bit of a goodbye, where we open all the presents that are up there on the tree. We'll open up presents. Some of them unfortunately exploded because landing gears were used. And if landing gears are used, then yeah, explosions are just what's going to happen. I'll see if I can get an old save of the world and get them back. But yeah, we'll be doing like a little goodbye, having a little bit of a venture around, having a look at some of the stuff, maybe getting a couple of tours. I don't know. It depends what happens. But the time for that will be in the description. We're supposed to be recording it around about 12 PM AEST on the 2nd of December. It's January now, so on the 2nd of January. Yeah, 12 PM AEST, which I think that's the evening in North America, and the early morning as in about 2 AM GMT yeah, in Europe. So not the best for Europeans there, but yeah, and then straight after we do that, the new world will be open, and I'm going to cut across to the start of the new world now. Here's the beginning of the new world. There are no of the old asteroids, the old style asteroids, just a whole lot of these procedurally generated ones. I went through a whole bunch of different seeds to try and find one that was nice. The density rate is 0.4 for these asteroids, so it's slightly down on half. So hopefully people with not the greatest computers, this should be all right. The downside then is that the distance between the asteroids is quite a long way. But I think that's a trade-off between having infinite resources, because of course you never run out of asteroids. The trade-off is trying to overcome the distances. And well, to start with, we built a few things in creative. We originally wanted to try and have everyone apply to move their stuff across, and we were going to move all the things across, you know, sort of say sorry for having to start a new world, you know, we won't lose your stuff and all that sort of thing. But it took too long. You know, I figured that people would rather just get playing rather than waiting for us, you know, for days and days on end, trying to bring everything in and put it where people would want it. And yeah, you know, and the fact that some people can't even log into the other server or move around if they're on meant that it was unfair if we were to say ask everyone to bring a ship with them, just one ship to carry over, and then we wouldn't be able to tell who has and hasn't got their ship. And yeah, it just ended up being too difficult, so we decided we're going to start fresh, apart from a couple of things. Now, I've allowed Teddy to bring across his police station. Don't ask me why it's purple, because that was going to be part of some RP thing right before we ended, and he'd just worked ages to get it into shape for the little thing that we were going to do. So I said, you know, just for this one thing, we'll bring that across, and it can be used from the get-go as soon as we start. And this goes double for the Citadel. I was in the world for about 20 hours over the past 2 days, building the Citadel with Mia, Anubiz, Lethal Owl, Mike, Christoph Keen, I think that's Drakol. I always forget Drakol. Drakol and Spider-Man. I always forget those two for some reason. Must be to do with the D's. Yeah, so we're all together building the Citadel, which I'll go have a quick look at in a minute, but we're going to do that more tomorrow. Well, tomorrow, well, today. You'll see this on the same day that we go and have a look at it. But we built that in creative. You know, to build this thing the way that we wanted in survival would have taken months, and you know, just to get things kicked off so it can all start once we're on here. Another thing that may or may not be brought across, we're not sure yet, is the council chambers, which will probably go around here somewhere. That's the town square. I know it doesn't really look like one, but you know, and outside the town square you have the council chambers. And then there's a police station perched on the side down there that can be moved. When Anubiz and Mia turn up, we'll have a little play around with how things look. The aim for this world, because it is vast, I mean, I'd be surprised if you got to the edge. I think there's 250 kilometers to the edge of this world, so I'd be surprised if you make it there. But it's definitely big enough to allow people to move out of the loading region. So if you have a slower computer and the center area becomes a little too laggy for you, you should be able to move far enough out that the middle, doesn't bother you. And it also allows us to have big stations a long way away, so all the factions can build. One could build way out there, one could build way out there, one could build out there, and it would all unload when they're not online, and that way it's we can play more. And then in the middle here, I've been doing some measuring. These beacons, I'm going to stay here. This is just for measuring. This is the closest asteroid to center, so this is where the town square will be. And then I've got a secondary asteroid up there, a tertiary asteroid. I spent ages going through seeds trying to find something that looked mildly like this. In that triangle, if I just zoom out a little bit, you can see there, primary, secondary, tertiary. There's a triangle that's made by them. Very roughly, I was going to consider that sort of the town, the city, where the sector revolves around. So you can go a long way out, but you can always come back to town to meet people and to do a variety of other things. And then right in the middle is the Citadel. It's the Citadel of Trading. We've been doing a lot of building. We are going to do a tour of that and explain how it works in the next, actually I think 2 videos from now. We're going to do that on the day that we launch, so the next time we'll be there, we'll be in survival, and we'll explain how it all works. I'll be there with Anubiz and Mir, probably, depends if he's awake. Yeah, and it's just a big shopping centre full of shopping centre sort of stuff. It should be good fun once it's done, even a disabled parking bay. Yeah, and the idea is to try and promote roleplay. So you can come here and you can sell your stuff anywhere between the secondary, tertiary, and the town square, primary asteroid. I don't know how I'm going to label them when we're in survival, but those beacons won't be staying. Roughly in that area would probably be a good idea. You don't have to follow this rule if you don't want, but it would probably be a good idea to build there, so that way there's plenty of room for things to go to render out, for lights and stuff like that to render out. But I think it's close enough so that you can see each other's creations, and if you're within that triangle, it's sort of considered as part of the town, and that way we can find our way around. I've got this rudimentary, where to go, this rudimentary sign that points towards the Citadel. We can use sort of roleplay methods to navigate, and I think people will come up with the navigation system. I've seen posts about people devising navigation systems and all of that. This is an example as the sort of roleplay thing that I want to get going. Once we start, I want to advertise for someone to come and decorate the town square. So I'll leave it like this. It's very ugly, but I'll see if I can rustle up enough stuff, enough resources or something to pay someone to make this town square look nice. And I wanted to encourage the use of the economy a little bit more. For example, I was talking to Milanos. He runs the Algebra Drone company or corporation. He wants to sell drones out of the Citadel, as well as have a factory way off in the distance, and he may be using like the Razor Transport Company to transport his drones after they're made to the factory up to the Citadel, where he can sell them. And then I'll be buying a few of those drones. I suggest people, rather than spending hours and hours and hours just building everything yourself, just buy a couple of things every now and then. We're going to need a lot of resources. These 3 asteroids are landmarks, not to be used for resources, although if you're going to build stuff in them, you can tunnel and stuff like that to build in there, but you can't just bring a massive drilling ship and drill through the entire thing. These asteroids are to stay. They'll be marked somehow, but that means that we have to venture a long way out to get our resources. So if you do build a drilling ship, a really good business would be to go out, drill a whole heap, use what you want, and then sell the rest at the Citadel, and use what you make from that to build what you need. Because there's going to need to be a lot of resources flowing into this town in order to build it. The town needs a name. We've had a few suggestions, but if you have a name for the town, then I'd be more than happy to hear it. There's a whole lot of other things that I could be talking about for ages, but essentially there's a lot of big plans. Hopefully the changeover to the new world goes as smoothly as possible. We'll be saying goodbye to the old world, and then coming here we'll explain the Citadel. You're very welcome to come along, join in with the TeamSpeak as we explain everything, and we'll be christening this new world and getting going. So hopefully this all works out and that you enjoy. Well, I hope this world sticks around for a long time, because it would be good to have a world with some longevity. Thank you for watching. I promise these update videos will slowly fade out once things start to work, and I'll start to do some more roleplay, silly, funny things. Goodbye.